Okay, so I got someone who asked me to explain vectors. Okay, so we're gonna start include iStream using namespace standard int main. Okay, this is the standard code that we work on. Okay, to write vectors, the first thing is you gotta do is include vectors. Okay, the second thing, listen, what we're gonna learn is how to declare vectors. This is probably the first point. The second, how to print it. Third, how to add a new value, a new number or a new string. Okay, so we're gonna initialize or declare vector of integers. Okay, so we include the vectors word to start with. Vectors, okay, vector, and then between those arrows you include its type. Okay, in that case its type is integers, and we're gonna give it a name which is my friend's name who asked for this. Okay, so wait, is there a problem? No, there's no problem. Okay, so we probably include vector. Yes, you should include vector, not vectors. Okay, so this is how you declare a vector of integers. Okay, you write vector, mention its type in arrows, and then give it any name. It can be Omar, it can be numbers, it's as you wish, but in that case we're gonna name it as my friend's name who asked for the explanation. Okay, so how do you give it values? Okay, you can use the brackets. In here you can give it values like 11, 55, 66, and 77. Okay, vectors is done so you can store a lot of values of the same type. For example, if this is double, then you can store as much doubles as you want in this bracelets. We call it the bracelet brackets. Okay. Okay, this is the first point. This is how you declare it. You write vectors, mention its type, and give it any name. And between those bracelets, you give as much values as you want. And I'll just put some spaces so it's more clear for you. Okay, so we added 11.5, 55.3, and so on. Okay, second, how to print it. In this case, we use the range base for loop. Okay, which is for auto, give it any name, C or Q or O. Let's give it O. Okay, and it's gonna store Omar. Okay, that's fine for now. Then you print O end line, and then range based for loop is used to store values individually. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. Individually. Okay, so O2O stored all the values of Omar. Sounds good? So we printed O after an end line. Let's see, we printed, well, I mean the values that we stored is printed. Okay, it can be, it's not just an O, it can be like hi. O to hi stores Omar, and then you print hi, and it's gonna give the same results. Don't think that the range based for loop has a certain thing over here. Okay, now we learned how to print it. Okay, we're gonna add a new value, and in this we're gonna learn a function called dot push back. Okay, it's pretty simple. Push back. Let's say we wanna add 100.9. We wanna add this into the vector of Omar, or double vectors. All we have to do is mention the vector's name and access the function by pressing a dot. Okay, then writing the function's name, which is push back, and in the brackets write the new value that you want to enter, in that case, which is 100.9. And if you want to print it again, In this time, I'm gonna wait a second. Let's put how do you see spaces between here so you can know the difference. Okay, so the first time it ended with 77. This time it ends with 100.9 because we used pushback function to add a new value. You can also to add a new value you can also put a variable instead of a number. For example, if you made int new num, okay, and this new num is equal to 765, and you want to add it through pushback, you can say, oh my god, pushback new num. And in that case, if you want to print it again, let's use the same space. Is it over here? Okay, if you want to print it again, we added a new value through a variable, not through an integer like this one. We added 100.9 by writing in an integer, but this time we wrote a value or a variable. We declared the variable, which is new num, and then we added it in here through pushback. So this is the three main thing, or the three things that you should know about vectors. There's a stupid way of printing the values, which I'll never tell you because it's useless, and it would probably waste your time to have to print every value alone. Like, okay, but for in case my friend he's asked for the add function. Okay, let's see the message. Add and pushback. Okay, he asked me what is add. Okay, so to explain to him what is add, let's explaining dot add function. Okay, let's say I want to print 66.2. This is the third value of vectors, right? So if I want to print it, I should say cout Omar dot add 2 and line, sorry, and line. Okay, what have we done here? Why did we mention the second value if it's the third? Okay, well, because vectors or the computer in general starts counting from 0. So this is the 0th value, this is the first value, this is the second value, this is the fourth value, this is the fifth, this is the sixth. So computers start counting from 0, and in that case, if we want to print this, then it's considered as the second value. Omar had accessed the add function that points to the placement of the value. And in that case, we printed it, and this is what add function does. It points at a certain value. We can Omar.add, let's try something new. 3 is equal to 600. Can we do that? Yes, we can. This is the 0th value, first, second, third. This is the third value, which is 77.1. We just changed it to 600. If we want to print again, the third value will be 600. 1 second. Oh, we have to close this. Okay, build and run. The third value became 600. It was always 77, 77, 77, but we used the add function over here once for printing and once for changing the value. And here we change the value to 600. So now we all learned how to declare it. Just write vector, mention its type, give it a name, put values. How to print it, use range-based for loop and then print it. Store the value in the new for loop and then print it. How to add a new value through a function called pushback, dot pushback. You write the vector's name, then you access it by writing a dot, then you mention the function. The fourth is the dot add function, which we mentioned lately over here. Once we did it for printing, once we did it to access a certain placement or a certain position of the vector and then change its value. This is this is pretty much covers the basics of vectors. And if you have any question, just drop it in the comments so I can make a new video or something. Thank you.